Nice to see you nice. I'm Paris Christou from Toonboxstudio.com. Welcome to this new little video. As you can see, there's an image I created on this channel back in 2012. It's been 10 years and I want to revisit it and redraw it, see if I can push it a little bit better. Now, before we get started with the speed video, give me a few moments. I like to pinpoint my mistakes that I believe I wasn't aware of back then. I feel it's nice to mention these little things. So the first thing that I feel like should be changed is the size difference between these two characters. We're looking at a full-grown adult bear, right? So he should be a lot bigger than Cherry. Now, as a design though, I like the way they're designed. Few minor tweaks here and there on both bodies, but the major issue for me is the bear's face. Although he's kind of fun and goofy looking, I want to tweak him a little bit to represent my drawing style that I have today. As for Cherry, the one thing that bugs me is that arc where her waist is. I know what I was going for back then, but I feel like she should be more grounded to the surface. The legs, I feel like there needs a little bit more rhythm. The feet are a bit too long. Besides that, some minor tweaks here and there. And her face, I'm going to tweak it a little bit to match what she looks like today. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Alright, let's have some fun. So right now, as you can see, I'm manipulating the actual original image, tweaking things with the lasso tool and the liquify tool. And oh boy, this is going too fast for me. Alright, so then I made a new layer on top, and as I made a new layer, I'm sketching over and tracing over the characters. And as I'm doing that, I'm slowly tweaking things as I go. Here I'm rotating her so that her body's actually correctly positioned on the surface, and manipulating things with the liquify tool. And then now I'm off to the bear. Oh my god, this is so fast. All right, so as the bear, like I mentioned, I absolutely love his pose, his proportions and everything. Slight minor tweaks, but the major tweak is his face. I want to change the face because I want something that represents my style of drawing, and this is too fast for me. Oh boy. Okay, now we're back onto Cherry. It's like I'm commentating for a horse race or something. But anyway, so I finished the actual rough sketch and repositioning things here and there, and now I'm diving in to tighten things up a little bit. Let's see if I can talk a little bit slower now, more calm. Right, so so I'm creating the line art. You can say I'm creating the line art, but I'm actually just cleaning things up a little bit. I'm not going to be creating that typical digital look, you know, that solid, clean outlines. I want it to have a bit of a rough, raw feel to it. I've mentioned this in past videos as well. I'm just in love with it lately. So yeah, here I decided to make a decision here to change the legs a little bit. I have the left leg crossing over the right leg. Now, the reason I decided to go for this decision is because I felt like her leg pointing up like that was too deliberate, too pin-up-y type of pose feel. And I want her to be more casual, so that's why I crossed the leg over, to give more of a relaxed, chilled, casual feel to this pose and still something more deliberate. And I feel like it actually did it justice there, so I decided to keep it. Now with my liquify tool, I'm tweaking things here and there. I absolutely love this liquify tool. It saves me so much time, I'm being serious. It's actually a wonderful tool. Let's try it out. Now off to the bear now. You know what? Actually, forget about commentating about what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing, all right? I'm cleaning things up. I want to talk about this image though, because I want to express something I felt. And you know, I went down this rabbit hole that took me back 10 years. And going that far back, and that's like very close to the beginning of this channel. I remembered everything I was going through, everything I was thinking about, feeling, everything when it came to designing. Now, most of you know that my first character I designed on this channel was Cherry, and then shortly after came this big pink bear before he disappeared. Now, if you're new to this channel, listen to this, right? So, as a kid, I was crazy about this one character called Barney Bear. Do you guys remember Barney Bear? I don't know if any of you know him. Some of you must have heard him. He was a very classic this bear done by the MGM guys, and he was a very cool. Oh, I used to love his cartoons so much, and I think that's what influenced this big pink bear. I think I just loved that bear, that the feeling of what his cartoons were all about, and his experiences. That I wanted that to be. I want to say that influenced this character. Now, I was also always into like stories like Beauty and the Beast, where you've got this beautiful damsel and this beast, scary beast type stories, or things like, you know, like King Kong and things like that. I always loved those type of those stories, and and their relationships and stuff like that. But when I designed these two characters and decided to put them together as a duo, I wanted it to be kind of like a yin-yang effect, where although she is this pretty girl and this beast next to her, in fact it's the opposite. Okay, that's the funny part, because he's not really a beast. Although he's massive, he's an animal. He's actually sweet, cuddly, fuzzy wuzzy type of character, and all he cares about is gathering his supplies and getting ready to hibernate throughout the winter. That's all he cares about. Yeah. But Cherry, on the other, she just absolutely adores this big pink bear. And he's the type of character that he can't speak, so he can't say anything back to her, but he just sits there and listens, right? And her role in this situation is that she always bugs him. She never lets him sleep, all right? Never gives him the time of day to actually go through that hibernation. That's the funny part of him. So she's always bugging him. She's always pestering him, in a nice way though, not in a bad way or anything. But that's the funny part, with that you got a Beauty and the Beast, but actually their personalities are the opposite. Yeah, that was the whole quirk about these two characters. And then after that, I don't know how long after that, that bear disappeared and became the little bear that you see in the top right corner. Although that bear in the top right corner, the little one, is not actually a pink bear. Now, if I remember clearly, the reason I went for that change, went to the little bear, I think it's because at the time I didn't have the skill set, I didn't have the experience, and I just felt like the little bear was easier to draw, easier to manage. It didn't take much of the space of the canvas, so I had more options. But now I feel like I can do more with the big pink bear. And now that I've revisited that little rabbit hole, I feel also that this duo is a better combo. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Here I made the canvas a square so that I can post it on Instagram, and now I've taken advantage of the space to actually resize the bear. And now that you can see that he's a lot bigger, it makes a lot more sense, in my opinion. It makes the image look a bit more stronger that way, versus the original image. And yeah, and here I'm drawing this dandelion. I just felt like she needed to have a reason to have a leg up in the air. I mean, back then I did it, it was a pin-up pose, and I don't want it to be a pin-up pose. The whole point was to draw a pin-up pose, but not make it obvious that it's a deliberate pin-up pose. That was the actual idea behind my concepts of Cherry. And I just feel like I didn't do it very well back then, and now at least you know, I'm giving her a reason to do that. Now, backgrounds. I didn't want to give it just a plain white background. Now, I'm not a background designer, by all means. I'm actually terrible when it comes to backgrounds. I usually fluke it, I wing it. Now, the correct way to handle things, you know, is to draw your environments first, so that you can have it'll be easier for you to place your characters within the environment. It's actually a lot easier that way versus the opposite way. And then once you color your backgrounds, you have all the lights, all the tones and the shadows to bounce off your characters, and it's easier to color your characters that way as well. I don't do that because I'm very backwards and I just love drawing characters, but that is the best way to handle things. So if you're anything like me, then you're just probably doing what I'm doing, just winging it, and hopefully you come up with something decent. I wanted to do a cave, but are you inside the cave looking at them? Are you outside? There's light beaming everywhere. I don't know. As long as it looks decent enough to, you know, put a smile on someone's face. Anyway, so here I'm adding some subtle shadows. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you actually want to see more of these two, the big pink bear. Give me a reason to actually come back and draw more, because I would love to actually. But yeah. So anyways, any moment now I'm going to add a nice texture. There we go. Gives that nice more of a raw feel to the actual image. And boom, voila. You got Cherry and the big pink bear. Oh yeah. Right, this is a remake from 2012, and now we're in 2022. That's 10 years. Wow, that was awesome. Absolutely loved it. Well, I'm Paris Christie from Toonboxstudio.com. I hope I entertained you for a few minutes. And like always, I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye for now.